Welcome back, everybody, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Today we're going to finish Case 3.
So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick.
I wish I could agree.
Huh?
When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth.
You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying?
I don't know, but if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe.
What are you so jumping about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end.
Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Top Knot!
It's not a top knot.
Never mind about the hair, just calm down, alright? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kinda get wound up. No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour.
An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But, Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right?
True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour. You bet! In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? Take that! If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey! That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solve the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, Dad's been gnawing at me, too. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess.
It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Alright, let's get back into this here.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre?
I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem.
Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on.
He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites.
Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the...
Ah!
Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too. Are you, would you mind...
What you say to me?
Nothing, I didn't say nothing, honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge?
I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
Heck no, of course not. It was the judge. Your Honor?
Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout. We can all hear you.
What'd you say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that holds you in. It's too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick! Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mask boy.
You mean you didn't attend the... You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas.
Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder.
Phoenix Wright. You's the one who set this up, didn't you? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today.
Get a grip, Nick!
Alright, let's...
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. Yous wanna check my alibi? Just ask Violetta.
Ah, at last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting like that.
I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details until he wins.
Lowlife? Me?
Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you get tangled with the tiger.
I love a good spectator sport.
Just a minute, that's really not...
This witness is... how can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side, and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too.
Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here.
You's better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus.
The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
You can do it, Nick!
Come out from under there already, would you, Maya? Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Hold it! Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini?
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was.
That seems like a rather sketchy schedule. There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? Mr. Tigre.
What yous want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail.
This is a dead end, Wright, and you know it. Remember the rules.
No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too?
Maybe yous ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before.
I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please...
Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony.
Huh.
Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself.
The day you was talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before.
Really? Well, there is something interesting on here that, I would like you to take a look at. Objection! Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glenn Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you.
What?
Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger. Dated December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glenn Elg. Because on the very day of the incident, you met with him.
Not bad. You's actually not bad.
Sorry?
I was just messing with you to see how good you were.
Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad.
That's one compliment I could do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth.
Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated.
Who's calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing?
Ruh-roh. So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth?
I said I'm dead serious. You's better believe that's the truth.
Ah, then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre.
Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? He never actually met the victim? That's got to be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy.
I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tenderlender. I waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never been to that Tribulations joint youth here.
I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up.
I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, right?
Whatever, dude. Ba-ba-ba. Really? Now, where did you get these matches?
Objection! Mr. Tigre,
Is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What you's talking about?
we found them in your office at Tenderlender. They're from that restaurant. If you've really never been to Tribulations before, what was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk?
You's been snooping around in my stuff too now, wise guy. What, you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me.
Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid.
Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony.
I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elg that day. And he did put poison in his coffee. He must have.
I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it. If I wait here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions.
No problem. Anytime Wright presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty.
Mr. Godot, that's my job.
Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it.
Yes, sir.
The special express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know, since yous paying.
Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Oh, well, I fucked that up. Oh, well. But, I don't think you could have seen an ugly scene from where you were at. Objection! You're something of a loan-collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre?
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight.
What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning?
These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this.
Indeed. The witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat.
Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition.
Why, that's true.
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. So, from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with him.
Objection!
Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glen Elk, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade.
That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glen Elk, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Mr. Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court.
Isn't it obvious? Take that! Obviously, the killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it.
What? Well, witness?
Now that's cute. You's thinking you can pin this on the tiger. Maybe yous don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts.
You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright?
Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You's got guts, I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright, don't leave me to handle this alone. Huh. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot! Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no.
The serving girl brought him a Javagino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it, she very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the
accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress, but the... Bleh.
Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Huh. Found your pen at last, right?
It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elk, and the waitress from behind.
Yes, your point, Mr. Wright?
I think the conclusion is obvious. If the Glen Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her.
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed?
Take that! Who's this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender.
You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick.
Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following.
Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of cackling laugh.
There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, was you!
Witness, what have you got to say?
That's cute.
Sorry?
You's alright. I could do with a guy like you around.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give yous one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about?
Yous got it all wrapped up nice, alright. But yous missed out one real important thing.
But that can't be!
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you see it.
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? Ah, what a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony.
Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?